Money doesn't grow on trees, which is why financing is so imperative for the tree care industry. Welcome to 10 out of 10 Tree Care Marketing Solutions program, where we dive into everything you need to know about creating a thriving tree care business from the industry experts themselves. On this episode, we are going to be looking at financing and the ins and outs of this important tool. Our guest today is JoAnn Cucciarre from Northern Atlantic Financial. She has been in the industry for over 25 years and brings a wealth of knowledge. Welcome, JoAnn. Great to see you.
Nice to meet you.
So tell me a little bit about how you got into this industry and what keeps you here.
I started working, I came from Snap-on Tools Corporation, so started working at a finance company with a bunch of arborists, and I thought this is a great industry, and that's where I started, and I just started doing from the credit up, and I went from in the credit department to being a sales rep and then owning Northern Atlantic Financial, specializing in the arborist industry.
For sure. So I'm so curious, what are the most commonly financed types of equipment?
So we finance everything from the software a company needs to do their billing, to do their invoicing. And we also will do bucket trucks. We do stump grinders, chippers, cranes. We do just about any type of equipment a business, would need. Their pickup trucks, whatever they need for their business, we would finance.
Okay, I see. And how can tree care service business owners identify if financing is the right option? Are there any glaring indicators? And can you also tell us about some that maybe aren't as prevalent, but you're like, you kind of need this service?
Well, it used to be where you could go out and just buy a chipper, $30,000, $40,000. Most people could just go out and write a check for that. Today, $30,000, $40,000 won't even get you a large enough chipper. And the cranes are running anywhere, they could start from 175 if it's used, going up, to $1 million. So it all depends on what they're buying, and that outlay of straight cash from the business just puts them in a, tight situation where it's easier to finance. And even though we are not their bank, a lot of times we can be very competitive with their bank, and plus the fact that they use us outside their bank. So if they ever need a quick line of credit for a large job they have coming, or they need to order 100 trees or things like that, they keep their bank lines open, and it's easier for us just to do the financing for them.
What does the application process look like, and what do tree care owners need to be mindful of when they're applying?
Well, it all depends. If they're an established business, usually it's just a one-page credit application, because the internet now gives you just about any type of information you need, from references on their business, on their personal. But if they've not been in business for a long time, sometimes we'll ask for banks and financials, and depends on what they're trying to borrow. If they're trying to borrow over $250,000, we would ask for financials and bank statements also. But normally, most of our customers are a one-page credit app.
Okay. So it's kind of like, a tree, it's got to have roots. You got to see where it's been, and can't just have a little sapling. You need to
right.
have established credit. Exactly. Using a tree metaphor. Here I go. So how does tree care equipment financing help with cash flow? How does it create a more efficient business and also expand your offerings?
Well, when they can get in there and they can remove the tree and they can cut it down, they can chip it, or, if they're going to use it, with a log loader, the quicker they get in, the quicker they get out, the more money they're going to make. The more jobs they can do in one day, and the fact of not even the more jobs, the safety aspect of it too, of them being safe and being able to get in and get out as soon as possible.
True. And then they have the most, updated equipment. I'm sure you're not using a stump grinder from the 70s if you're
no, exactly.
Really? Okay, I see. What are some first-time financing mistakes that owners can avoid? What should they watch out for when they're giving this a go?
Well, first off, especially when they're first time, can they afford it? More than anything, talk to your accountant, make sure, you're making the right moves at the right time. If you're just getting into business or starting, you're not going to have the brand new bucket truck, the crane, everything the first year. That's going to take time. But knowing when the right time is to pull that trigger of saying, my business is growing and, the Section 179 write-offs. So talking to their accountant and going back and forth of what the best thing is for them is learning what that is too. One thing too, you should always definitely have an accountant right from the beginning, because the accountant's going to advise you of what to do and how to do it.
Oh, great. And have you seen any sort of trends over the years in terms of what sort of equipment people are going for? Are they going for like the big ticket items, or is it just actually starting small?
Well, it's, I've worked with several customers that, I started with their chipper, and then I did their bucket truck, and then I did their crane, and then they, did a log truck. So it's always, when you work with a company too, and you establish that, it's a lot easier. So right now, if someone came to me, they started out with that chipper, I have all their information, then they'll text me, they'll call me and say, hey, I'm looking for this. So they don't really need to fill everything back out again. They just need to let me know where they're buying from, and then we just start working on the next deal for them.
Got it. Well, JoAnn, this has been a very illuminating conversation about the powers of financing and how it can really take your business to the next level. For those who are interested in learning more and contacting you, can you share your contact information?
Sure. Northern Atlantic Financial. My name is JoAnn Cucciarre, and our phone number is 1-800-710-4361.
Fabulous. Thank you everyone for tuning in for this great conversation with JoAnn Cucciarre. Just an asset that, you should be using financing. Doesn't matter where your company is. The sky is kind of the limit. Thanks everyone for tuning into 10 out of 10. You can also find more information on financing and bits from the show at treecaremarketingsolutions.com/10-financing. And that's a great way also to check out our other shows and see what we have available as well. Until next time, everybody.